In regards to knowing political structure, I think that politics are always going to play a role in education, especially when financials are involved. Um, everyone wants some money allocated to their cause, or whether it's an organization, a club, their class. So I think politics are always going to play a role in that. And as we all know, funding education in Kansas has been pretty inconsistent. It's taken some lawsuits at the state Supreme Court level to get some things changed, and hopefully that we can get some other things changed to where we can have a little more consistent idea of what's going on, so that we can best educate our kids. Um, and then politics play a role, especially with our bond issue, and increasing our mill levy. Like I had mentioned earlier, it took a little bit. It took the failing of one bond issue to get a second one passed, and the community had to agree on increasing that mill levy, which will tax them higher, to allow the school to get a little bit more money so we can improve facilities. And it was much needed, but it took some serious. It took a joint effort by the school, some school personnel, and community members, and high up community members to get out in the public, talk to voters, and try to convince them and show them that the improvements were really needed. Social tensions, with the limited diversity, I can't recall one situation in 4 years where there was, interracial or gang confrontations in Chase County. And I don't know if that's the limited diversity or if that's the community culture and they don't stand for those types of things. Maybe it's both. In regards to cliques, most of our cliques are going to be grade level cliques. We do have a lot of kids who will hang out and talk with anyone in any grade level, but a lunchroom is a tell-all when it comes to cliques, and most of the time in that lunchroom you're going to see most of the grade levels sticking with each other. You have a senior lunch table, freshman lunch table, and so on. There'll be a little mix in between, but as far as cliques go, it's going to be based on grade level or what activities the kids are in. Like I said earlier, most kids are involved. We have 95% involvement in activities. But like the wrestlers will hang out with mostly the wrestlers. Basketball will hang out with most of the basketball players, and so on. And in regards to discrimination, I don't see a lot of it or hear a lot about it. But if there is any discrimination at all, or let's just say bullying, for example, most of that is going to be socioeconomic status within the community. Any kind of confrontations or disruptions between students is most likely going to be based on socioeconomic status. Extra sources of information. Of course, we're going to get a lot of our information at school board meetings with the minutes. Friends and Family Booster Club does a really good job of collaborating with the school and with other student-athlete parents to get some information out to help the student athletes and to help out the school, to be honest. And like I also said earlier, we are a heavily involved church community. A lot of the churches do really good things together. They provide a lot of opportunities and events for families and students. I'm currently just talking with one of the churches in the community to get some extra equipment needed for PE so we can do a certain unit. So we get some information out. They especially help get information out throughout the community. And then KSDE obviously has a lot of information about our school and little tidbits about our community as well. So that is where we get extra sources of information. Power structures. I think most schools are going to be top down, from the school board soup to principal, AD, then staff. But at my school, I have noticed certain teachers, maybe veteran teachers that have been there for a little while, and we have new administration come in. I think I had a new principal come in with me the first year 4 years ago, and before then he had only been there for a couple years. So administration, our turnover rate for administration is probably about every 4 to 6 years. So staff members have definitely been there a little bit longer than some of these new administrators, and right away you can tell a couple staff members may try to, I don't know, professional term here, maybe smooth up to the administrators, but we definitely have a couple staff members that are able to manipulate administrators into making decisions that benefit them and not the entire staff and not even the entire student body. So when it comes to pecking order, I think we've got some staff members that can stretch their wings a little bit to manipulate some other people that are considered high on the pecking order. When it comes to parents, they normally don't challenge the power structure. They do a pretty decent job. If they ever have any concerns, they usually go straight to the teachers, and I think that relationship between parent and teachers is really good, and I think the teachers have done a pretty fantastic job of establishing those relationships, and credit to the parents for working well with the teachers when it comes to the students. And mentioned earlier, we are a highly conservative community, so I think they're very traditional. If they have issues, they're going to go to the source and things like that. So knowing multicultural issues, I feel like the school culture and expectations at times takes a backseat to community culture and expectations. And I think that might just be because of such strong traditional families. Like I said, it's a highly agricultural community. We'll have students missing classes some days, full days of school some day to go work cattle or to go farm, which harvest, of course, in Kansas, if you've got farm kids and it's harvest time, you're probably not going to have them. But sometimes I think the school culture and expectations takes a backseat to what families think is best. Through KISA, we've actually been working on implementing strategies to improve school culture. And it might be getting visuals up in the school. I know with our new weight room edition, we are discussing visuals to encourage students, to motivate students, and we're also discussing ways to put up visuals throughout the school. And we've also had discussions as staff. We do have detailed school rules and expectations in our student handbook, staff handbook, but they're not really applied consistently. Administrators, our principal, and staff. Some staff choose when to apply those rules and when not to. And I can understand sometimes. It depends on the kid. We just like in athletics and coaching, you have to be able to manage personalities. And I think to get the best and motivate kids and for them to reach their potential, you have to manage some of their personalities. And that could be why, but I believe it's a little too inconsistent for that to be an excuse. Measuring public opinion, we don't have a formal survey for public opinion at the high school, and I believe the elementary used to do a climate survey. I'm not sure if they do anymore. There is times for public to voice their concerns at school board meetings. We reserve a spot during that meeting for anyone who can come up and voice their concerns and discuss those. And then something we do that is really good is we have high school advisory meetings. So instead of parent-teacher conferences, every student is given an advisor, and they have to, twice a year, fall and spring, we set up times and we discuss the future of the student, what the student's doing well. So it's kind of like parent-teacher conferences, but a step further. We have software where every kid has an account, and we are mapping out, their interests, what classes maybe we need to offer. Maybe we need to offer some new classes. Who can we co-op with to get some of these kids some new classes that interest them? So we're really a step ahead of some other schools in regards to our advisory meetings, and those give us an opportunity to talk with parents and get their public opinion. But that's just taking care of a couple stakeholders. I think we definitely need to come up with a better job of surveying the entire community. And that's what brings me to public opinion surveys. I think climate surveys would especially be beneficial, especially at enrollment time, at the beginning of the year. And I think those need to happen at the end of the year as well, to compare and contrast, look at that data, and see what we're doing well and what we're not. And then I think from there, providing all stakeholders with a survey, discussing the school's strengths and weaknesses. What can we improve? What are we doing well? Can we, co-op with or partner with different organizations to provide students with different experiences that will help um, some of the weaknesses that we have? Um, and then I've also heard the idea of a community coffee hour. Administrators having a time in the morning open, having coffee, and sitting with community members just to discuss what's going on, maybe what they're hearing, maybe some things that we could do better, maybe hearing that they want to partner with us in a project-based learning opportunity. So those are ideas that I would have for our school when it comes to gathering information about public opinion. Here's my resources. I apologize my video took so long, but there was a lot of important information I thought I needed to get out there. So thank you guys. We'll see you later.